Secretary of State Marco Rubio says he spoke with his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov. Besides Syria and Ukraine, the two men talked about restoring trade between the two countries. That's according to Marco Rubio. I didn't know that. We're not trading with Russia? Did something happen? Rubio wants to restore trading with the country that invaded Ukraine. Interesting. Trump said he's spoken with Putin, and the two plan to meet in Saudi Arabia sometime in the future to work out a deal on Ukraine. Saudi Arabia is going to broker the deal. Saudi Arabia's Mohammed bin Salman is going to broker the deal. Blessed is the peacemaker. Whenever I think of Mohammed bin Salman, the guy who took a bone saw to Jamal Khashoggi, I always think there's a Sherpa on the climb towards serenity. Good choice. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, National Security Advisor Mike Waltz, and Middle East envoy billionaire Steve Witkoff, they're heading right now to Saudi Arabia for talks on how to end the fighting in Ukraine. Politico reporting that Ukraine and NATO allies will be excluded from these talks. In an interview with The Economist, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warned, quote, if Russia is left alone with America, if Putin is left alone with Trump, he will receive manipulative information. Really? Trump manipulated by Putin. That's no way to talk about my president. Where would anyone get the idea that Putin has a hold over Trump? Besides the Mueller report and every congressional investigation, including the ones chaired by Republicans, including the ones chaired by that idiot Devin Nunes. Pete Hegseth, our alcoholic white Christian nationalist running the Pentagon, made his first trip overseas as defense secretary. And he embarrassed himself. He embarrassed the United States. He didn't embarrass Trump because he's shameless. But Pete Hegseth, despite the Princeton education, or because of the Princeton education, he is stupid. I'm going to show you how stupid this arrogant prick, this white Christian nationalist, Pete Hegseth, who cheated on his wife weeks after she gave him a baby. He told a meeting of NATO, now listen to how stupid this is. I mean, I'm an idiot, and even I know this is stupid. So Pete Hegseth, the alcoholic, we sent him to meet with defense secretaries in Europe last week. He told a meeting of NATO allies in Brussels that Ukraine is being unrealistic if it thinks peace is possible without ceding land to Russia. This is what the man says right before negotiations with Russia begins. Sonny, how many times do I have to tell you, Sonny, never tell anyone outside the family what we're thinking? Just watch The Godfather. Hegseth also said granting Ukraine's request to join NATO was out of the question. Here's the scary part. New York Times reporting Trump said afterwards he supported Hegseth's statement because people who have a shred of intelligence know that this is so stupid. The United States is negotiating with Russia, and Pete Hegseth is already conceding two major demands before the talks even begin: NATO membership and land. Giving that up. Yeah, the art of the deal, Donald, right? It's why Trump went bankrupt 6 times. Senator Roger Wicker is the Republican chairman of the Armed Services Committee. They approved Hegseth's nomination. Wicker wasn't happy. He said, quote, Pete Hegseth made a rookie mistake. No, it wasn't a rookie mistake. Pete Hegseth is stupid. Wicker said he made a rookie mistake in Brussels. Don't know who wrote the speech. It is the kind of thing Tucker Carlson could have written, and Carlson is a fool, unquote. No, you're the fool, Roger Wicker, for approving Pete Hegseth's nomination. You are the chairman of the Armed Services Committee. You could have blocked Pete Hegseth. You didn't. You're the fool, and we have a fool saying foolish things. Pete Hegseth on Friday tried to walk back his statement, saying, I was simply trying to provide Europe and Ukraine with realistic expectations. You don't go into negotiations with realistic expectations, you D-bag. You showed your hand. He's negotiating against himself before the talks with Russia even start. He's negotiating against himself. I can't believe he's not a Democrat. This is how Democrats deal with the big banks, big pharma, health insurance companies. They give up before they even begin talking to them. Because deep down, the Democrats, they want the big banks, big pharma, the health insurance companies to win. And deep down, the Trump administration, they're on Putin's side. This is a kabuki dance. They don't care about Ukraine. They care about Putin. There's a very large Putin wing inside the Republican Party, and Trump heads it. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, is considering a deal that would hand over 50% of Ukraine's mineral wealth in exchange for America's military support. According to the Washington Post, Ukraine has as much as $15 trillion in untapped rare earth minerals. We're starting to look at Ukraine the way we look at Greenland and Canada. These minerals are in much demand and will be in even more demand as the world's economy switches to clean energy technology and AI. You need these rare earths. China, according to the Post, is the world's leading provider of rare earth. The Post says many, but not all of Ukraine's rare earth reserves are located in territory currently occupied by Russia. How odd that of all the parts of Ukraine that Vladimir Putin decided to invade, it would be the part of Ukraine that has all the rare earth. Senate Budget Chair Lindsey Graham said Saturday, quote, Ukraine has value, literally has value, unquote. Literally has value, he said. You mean before rare earth, human life in Ukraine had no value? Literally, Lindsey? Not until you realize it has a treasure trove of rare earth does Lindsey Graham realize Ukraine has value. Literally. Freedom, sovereignty, no value. Rare earth, that's something to kill for. Lindsey said, quote, Trump now sees Ukraine differently. These people are sitting on literally a gold mine. No, literally a rare earth mine. Lindsey goes, I showed him a map. Did you hand him a crayon and let him color in all the parts of Ukraine with rare earth that we should have? Lindsey's all excited now. He says, we will have something to defend. Oh, before we didn't have anything to defend. The people of Ukraine weren't worth defending. The rare earth. This is who Republicans are. They put mammon before God. I mean, they're out in the, you got, at least for somebody in the closet, Lindsey's pretty open. We will have something to defend. We will have an economic interest in Ukraine we've never had. And that's a nightmare for Putin, unquote. Wow, unbelievable. The people of Ukraine, not worth fighting for, not worth saving, don't have value. But rare earth, yeah. Donald Trump has repeatedly said one of America's biggest mistakes after invading Iraq was not taking all their oil. All of this. Taking Iraq's oil, getting half of Ukraine's rare earth, invading Greenland, invading Canada. It all sounds great when you're pounding a few back with friends at a bar. Or if you're a comedian with a podcast. It's funny to talk this way, but these people mean it. And this is not my country. This is not the country I want to pretend to be. I like to pretend this is not who we are. Now, I know all wars are mostly over natural resources, but have the decency to lie to me. Say we're spreading democracy and freedom. At least Putin had the human decency to tell his people he went into eastern Ukraine to protect Russian-speaking people. It just happens to be a lucky coincidence that part of Ukraine that has most of the rare earths also happens to be where the Russian-speaking people who are worth rescuing happen to be. Putin has the decency to lie to his people. This government should lie to us like they always do. Lie to us. Tell us this is a war about freedom and democracy. The domino theory. If we don't stop Putin in Ukraine, we'll be drinking borscht in a week. Lie to us. It sounds better for a mother to say my son died protecting freedom than it does to say my son died stealing dysprosium that Apple and Tesla need to dominate their respective markets. Let's send our kids off to fight for freedom, not dysprosium.